So what did I miss? What did I miss yesterday? I heard it was the Spencer Fest. I'm excited to hear about the Spencer Fest. What exactly did I miss yesterday? I heard Clemente did a good job hosting the show.
Nobody wants to hear about it. All they want to hear about it. I just want to give a special shout out to all the developers that made this morning's pack drop on the Nifty.com successful. There were no crashes. There was nothing like that. Shout out to all the developers that made that possible. I just want to thank y'all for putting in that hard work, and spending a few hours yesterday, because it didn't take you that long because you're that talented. Shout out to our development team.
How many developers worked on this one, Nick?
Just me.
Okay. Well, that's awesome, dude. It does sound like the pack drop has gone well. As you can imagine, I don't participate in it. I don't want to take packs away from other BoDoggos holders. Me and Nick were just joking off air. The funniest rug pull ever would be Nick stealing the free NFTs on the platform because he just wants them. Because he's talking about he wants the free NFTs in this pack. That would be a rug pull that I think I could get behind, is just Nick being like, nah, these are mine. The custodial NFTs that are only on our platform. Nick, should BoDoggos holders and Nifty.com users expect that?
Well, the utility is I bought a bunch of these BoDoggos and portals, which means that I'm just earning fat stacks of bones. So there's always going to be a market for, well, actually, what am I talking about? No. Sorry, I'm talking about some future things.
Leaky faucet.
I'm just stacking bones, dude. I feel like that's the most important thing here. I don't need to buy the packs right now. I'm ready. I'm ready to swoop in and materialize things with bones.
Well, there you go. Kixie boy, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Having a good week. Got some good sleep. Surviving out there in the bear market. Gaming progress going great. So can't complain, man.
Love to hear it. Someone just said, whoa, Pio's back. Is it that surprising? I mean, I missed one day. Like, is it that weird that I'm back? I don't know.
Pio, I was actually watching it yesterday. I mean, Clemente's, the Kyle to your Shanahan. You know what I mean? He did a great job, but I missed you. I missed you on the show yesterday. So glad to be here with you. Although Nick did some good stuff. Nick's still old man. He still knows how to chop those feet, on the court, man. He'll hit a three and he'll look you in the eyes and kind of do a little wiggle back. Say, what's up?
Oh, yeah. I mean, athletically, there's a lot to talk about with Nick. We don't have time for that. I feel that me and Nick have more athletic potential as a pair. We don't have to get into that right now. He just took himself.
I don't
Why
know
do
what
you keep
happened
leaving
there.
and coming back?
Well, the first time was because I wanted to eat something out of the bowl here, and I didn't want people to have to observe it. The second time, turns out there's a keyboard shortcut that I was unaware of. You're going to snipe that, and you're off the screen. So that's what happened there. I wonder if you can just toggle with that.
Well, okay. Well, real quick, we got Nick eating something out of a bag or a box at 9:09 a.m. I saw Kix drink something that was colored orange. What are we breaking our fasts with today, gentlemen? What kind of sugar content are we putting into our bodies at 9:09 a.m.?
This is 35 G's.
Oh my God, man!
Jesus Christ!
My Doritos.
33 of its added sugars. No wonder I've been getting fat.
33 minutes added.
What are you drinking?
It's Body Armor. It's got it's. You ever seen that?
Wait, sorry. Can you show it to the?
It's got electrolytes.
It goes 33 out of the 35 grams is added sugar. We got 2 grams of naturally occurring sugar. Then we dump 33 grams more in.
I thought it was
Body
healthier
Armor
Gatorade, but it's just
around
straight
your
up
stomach.
Yeah, straight up not healthier Gatorade. It's just Gatorade named Body Armor. So from now on, we'll be over to the Fiji water for this show.
Damn.
Now that we broke our fast and our body's metabolizing a bunch of bullshit.
Pio's like, we broke our fast. You're not supposed to eat for 6 days. That's the way that the human operates. How about you shut up? How about you stop talking about, like, I've had enough of your judgmental commentary. It's not, no one else speaks in the way that you're speaking. You talked about having a joke to one that you're, what are you breaking your fast for? Pio's yucking it up by himself over there. What are you break your fast for? Look at you breaking your fast at 9 a.m. No one else speaks that way.
Here's the thing. He's saying I'm breaking my fast with this body armor. I had 2 egg bites from Starbucks. Bacon, 450 calories.
That's
About
so
45 minutes ago.
disgusting.
450 calories.
Yeah.
That's a decent amount.
I'm sure your hunter-gatherer ancestors would really approve of this approach, gentlemen. You're highly evolved.
8 cups of coffee that he put through a French press before he starts the show was really of the hunter-gathering, generation, basically.
Just dumping acid into their gut to start their day off.
literally look up the history of caffeine and coffee. Before coffee, humans had to booze all the time because all the water was contaminated. So they're just always drunk. Then like 1,000 years ago, when they discovered coffee, they started being highly productive. I'm living in that era. I'm not living in the get drunk all the time like you guys are, drunk
Nick,
off of sugar water.
What did Pio? We were having dinner last week, and Pio, I think, called coffee the most innovative technology in the human history. Or something like that.
I don't remember him saying that. But the thing I was thinking about is that on like early 2000s TV shows, basically all the dramas. I got this from Suits. Every scene involves them drinking. Like it's cut from one thing, they're working, and then next scene they're cheersing because they accomplished something, and basically they're always drinking alcohol. Every single scene is them drinking alcohol, and I'm just like, top performers right here drink alcohol all the time.
I mean, there's a lot. Look, we live in New York. There's a lot of alcohol drink. I mean, when I lived in LA, it was maybe more, no, I think it's the same. On Halloween in LA, all the parents, like if you live in the South Bay, for example, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, something like that, or the West Side, Santa Monica, Venice Beach, Marina Del Rey, the parents are going with their kids trick-or-treating. So all the little kids are trick-or-treating, and the parents have a cart that's a mobile bar. And they're literally just boozing their faces off while the kids are trick-or-treating. I mean, America's got a booze culture. Go to the UK, see about them boozing. Ask them if they're going to booze after work.
They don't drink. In the UK, they don't drink. The Irish, known for not drinking. Most Europeans, not drinking at all. Pia, the distinction is they just don't enforce drunk DWIs and DUIs in Europe, so it feels a lot more natural. Are you putting on a mouth guard there, Spencer? What was you getting ready for the fight?
He was eating.
I was in the waiting room for a little bit, so I was eating some seaweed.
He's breaking his fast.
I love a good seaweed snack.
Yeah, there's a difference between eating seaweed and drinking liquid sugar. Go ahead, Spencer.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
but this is the thing, right? Like, I went through a short period of time, very short, it's about 2 months, where I optimized fitness, and the only snacks I allowed myself to eat were popcorn, like unbuttered, no flavor, nothing, just pop some popcorn, air popped it, and maybe put on a little bit of salt, maybe a spritz of olive oil if I was feeling frisky, and some seaweed. So this is like the one thing I've kept over is like now when I'm feeling guilty for having eaten too many chips the night before, I'll just wake up and eat some seaweed and be like, you know what? I'm back on my health kick for the next 7 minutes.
Seaweed has high iodine content, which is great for your thyroid, amongst other things, hormone regulation, all sorts of things.
Well, I mean, look at Kicks with dropping a little bit of knowledge there. People probably don't know Spencer, or maybe they don't know, maybe they do know. Spencer's, I'd say, a top 2 athlete on this show right now. It'd be Spencer and Clemente, I think I have to give it to. Spencer.
Fencing's not a sport, Pio.
Of course it is. It's a combat sport. What are you talking about, Bunny?
Yeah, that's bozo take.
What?
Out to lunch on that one, man.
But first of all, Bunny, when I met you, I slapped you into double underhooks, no hesitation, and you got the wrestling background. I could just feel, I was like, man, this guy doesn't have it anymore, man. You could probably get low, but I'm saying if I had stuck a leg behind you.
We weren't allowed to eat at that restaurant again, actually, was the situation because you did that, dude. And I was kind of uncomfortable in it because it was very homoerotic, and I was like, to have that experience inside of a restaurant, just very odd. And I learned a little something new about you on that day, that you were willing to like present yourself in that light in a restaurant of such caliber. So I'm a little bit shocked. I'm gonna be honest. And I'm still holding that in the back of my head.
Well, Nick, this will make you feel better. How about if we all say our favorite fencing movie with fencing in it at the same time? 1, 2, 3, go. I love you, man.
Yeah, that's the movie. That's the movie. Aziz Ansari, Paul Rudd, and other comedic actors are all fencing their asses off.
That did.
Spencer, did you see that movie?
Nope.
Oh, come on. We got a Zoomer here, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
best fencing movie is Scaramouche.
Ooh.
Oh, well, I got to see that. That sounds pretty good.
They have a scene at the end where there's a one-take fencing fight where they're like dancing around like a theater and they're like hanging off the ledges and they're swinging from the things. And this is like back in the day before you had like CGI or security or safety or any of those things. So they're really just like doing it on like ledges. It's pretty crazy.
It sounds dope. I'd love to see Bunny eat a fencing shot square in the chest and then let me know that it's not a combat sport. I'd love to see it. If you hold one of the fencing swords, do you call it a sword? What do you call it?
Not in airports.
A lance.
A
lance.
Equipment.
Anyway,
there's
ladies
a
and gentlemen.
famous story of one of the, I think it was the UPenn fencing team was going up to a tournament in Canada. And their coach had like all the foils in the back of his car when they crossed the border. Border Patrol was like, "Do you have any weapons?" He said, "Weapons. We have the finest weapons." They famously missed that tournament.
Wow, that's pretty funny that that they literally just didn't let you go because of fencing stuff. But then again, airport people can be weird.
Fencing stuff you can travel with, but just like if you're
Don't
crossing
call it
a
a
border,
weapon.
you call it sporting equipment.
I grew up seeing a lot of long fences. Those would surround a lot.
Great joke, Nick. Really funny.
He was waiting for that. Great brand, dude.
Well, there you go.
Nationally renowned.
Isn't that crazy? Did you know that long fence was not because of the size of it, because one of the owners' last name is Long?
Yeah, long cock.
No, that
I just couldn't put the other part on the fencing. It didn't help
no,
business.
it's Peter Longcock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to discuss Kix's bull and bear case for NFTs going into 2024. We're going to dive into why Parallel Gaming is the winner of the week and hear Spencer's first thoughts as he started playing the game yesterday, and if now is the time to farm the Friend.Tech airdrop. Okay, I also want to shout out, we have the one and only incredibly talented artist experiencing a crazy glow up right now. Already had massive success inside and outside the NFT space, but really getting a bright moment in NFTs right now. Sam Spratt is joining us tomorrow. So set your reminders in the pinned tweet above. Nick agreed to do a special deal for everyone listening. Every reminder you set equals the number of push-ups Nick has to do tomorrow. We're trying to hit triple-digit reminders. I don't think Nick would have approved of that, Clemente. Did you just make that up? And
it happened yesterday. You had to be there on the show, PO. We're already at 30. We're trying to hit 100. Nick agreed to it.
30?
30 reminders.
30? I thought this was going to be a challenge, but
Damn.
Spoken like a man who's not done many push-ups in his life.
what are you talking about? Yo, I'm gonna go prep and do a quick 30 real quick just to get
keep the elbows in, Nick.
Yeah,
the
make sure
elbows
those
got to be in.
don't hurt so much sitting on them while you're doing it.
I got these perfect push-up devices, so I don't need to have my hand flat
All
on the
little
ground.
wiggly things.
I got those sitting right there, man.
Gotta protect the wrists.
Yeah.
Protect your wrist.
Nick has more fitness equipment than someone that's literally like a professional Instagram fitness person. So you know he's got the perfect push-up.
Literally, I have a Peloton and a perfect push-up and a pull-up bar.
You had an in-unit gym.
Okay, well, that was just because I had extra bedrooms, basically, and that. But yeah, so I had dumbbells. But what's ridiculous, those Bowflex dumbbells, when you drop it on the mat, basically, it would just snap and then break the whole thing. Like, they were not very sturdy despite their ludicrous cost associated with them.
Yeah, they are expensive. Real quick before we dive in, Bunny, when's the last time you exercised in any capacity?
What does that have to do with anything?
It's the sugar content on Prime. I'm a little worried over here with my body armor.
Perfect answer. So look, ladies and gentlemen, diving in just a sec, we had a BoDoggos pack drop happen this morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time where BoDoggos holders could spend bones that they had accumulated by staking their dogs on the Nifty.com, and they used those bones to buy packs on the Nifty.com platform. This was the second pack that we dropped. Clemente has the user interface pulled up on the YouTube stream right now. Packs had very limited edition digital collectibles and NFTs that are redeemable, as in they could be transferred out. One example is an OK Bear that was won this morning by Starve. Starve won the Mad Lad last time. This guy's a lucky guy for sure. We have another pack drop today at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and a special drop coming at 4 p.m. Eastern time that you can participate in even if you buy a BoDoggo right now. So let me repeat that, okay? So
No.
if you've, okay, maybe Nick could say it.
Well, you can't participate today if you buy a BoDoggos right now. Sorry, you finish your
Great sales
reading
pitch,
and
Nick.
then I'll provide.
So I'm just going to repeat that. So let's say you already had BoDoggos, you've been staking them, you've been earning bones. There's a pack that's dropping at 2 o'clock today. That's a no-brainer for you. Pop in there, spend your bones on the pack, right? But if at 4 p.m., we have a drop that you can participate in. If you buy a BoDoggo now, and Nick, why don't you add color?
Basically, if you stake your, we got to stop writing sold out, and we use the different font. Okay. So basically, every day, each of your dogs earns bones. You put them to work, and I can actually pull that up so you can see what that ends up looking like. But you go into the bodega, you put them to work, you earn bones. That's the bottom line. If you have a portal, it'll auto claim those bones for you each and every day, and also you earn additional bones for your portals. You can then use those right now to buy packs. That's one of the things that you can do at the moment. This is the register where you see how many you have. It automatically deposits them into the bank because you have a portal. And you can then spend those on individual packs. We did the first set of packs this morning. We have another set of packs this afternoon. And then we have a special pack, which you can buy a lot of for a low price, basically. And it's going to operate more. I don't want to use the word RAFFLE. I don't want the kids to hear that. But it operates kind of like one. Okay. And so you can then use bones to buy packs over the next few days or the next week. And then there will be a raffle for the 1-of-1 BoDoggo, which we have not yet announced today, but I might as well say it on this show. You have a chance to win one of the remaining 1-of-1s of the BoDoggo. And so you can get those tickets using bones. The price of the tickets will probably be 10 bones. So it's pretty cheap. So that means for each BoDoggo you're getting a ticket each day that you can buy. There is an upper limit. I don't know what we're going to set the upper limit of number of tickets, but it'll be somewhere closer to like 1,000 than like 10. And so you can buy BoDoggos, stake them today, earn bones, and each day go and purchase these packs. The packs, we look, the way that we've been doing this is just progressively. We iterate on the platform. We roll out new features. We make improvements. The initial stuff that we dropped was the packs and the redeemables. The new thing that we're dropping today is the 1-of-1 raffle of the BoDoggo. And we have a number of upcoming things as well so that they're not just stuck in your wallet. There's actually things you can do with the free NFTs.
Are we talking like, are the free NFTs, you're going to be able to use them to mow your lawn? Are you going to be able to rub them on your skin, clear up a rash? What are we thinking about?
Those two things, definitely. I was thinking about that sort of utility. I was also thinking that, some of the utility we could release with the free NFTs is that like you trade one in, you get a boat, like you get a yacht, just one of them. And that's the sort of thing that I think is possible with these free NFTs. Maybe you get a fencing, what did we call it? It's not a sword.
Foil.
A foil. Maybe you get a foil if you collect 30 million of our NFTs. We're going to give you a foil. I didn't say how many NFTs you have to collect in order to get the boat. I'm just saying like you're going to want to collect them. But in all seriousness, there's actually going to be utility for those NFTs as well. We're just doing it one feature at a time. So that's how we're operating at the moment. There is one weird bug. Some of the people that won redeemables couldn't transfer them out. So I'm looking into that. But yeah, as Witter says, your dog has to be working. And the more of those dogs that you have, the more that you earn. And by the way, the staking right now is literally just click a button. It doesn't. You don't need to sign a transaction or anything. We may release a version. We do have it coded for the signed transaction. We haven't figured out the dynamics for those. But buy a BoDoggo, put it to work, earn some bones, and buy some packs. Rip some packs.
Yep. And ladies and gentlemen, I see people in the BoDoggos Discord appreciating the level of detail that Nick just provided. So thank you, Nick. Just to reiterate, maybe to people that aren't already involved with BoDoggos, it sounds like there's a raffle for a 1-of-1 BoDoggo, the bear, which you can see, on Magic Eden. If you go look at the 1-of-1s, the bear BoDoggo is in the team wallet. So that is getting raffled off. And the way you can get those raffles is just by having any amount of BoDoggo. Sounds like you'll be, if you bought one BoDoggo right now, then every day for the next few days, how many days is it, Nick?
I think we'll wait till next Wednesday to actually do the reveal.
The drawing. Okay.
Yeah.
So 7 days. So it sounds like you'll get around 7 raffle tickets. If you can buy one a day, call it 6, right? If you buy it right now, then tomorrow you can get your first raffle ticket. So you'll have 6, right? Right, Nick?
Yes, exactly. And it happens each day at midnight, I think, is when the bones are issued. So yeah, each day at midnight, it issues the bones. You'll get 10, and that's it.
There you go. So let's say you bought 5 BoDoggos right now. You'd be racking up 5 raffle tickets a day starting tomorrow. By next week, you'd have like 30 raffle tickets or something like that if the math checks out. So just laying it out for people. If you're interested in participating in this raffle for the 1-of-1 bear.
Not a raffle. Just
it's not a raffle. It's not a raffle.
It's a sweepstakes giveaway.
It's a
Nope,
sweepstakes.
that's also another word we don't want to go with, okay?
It's not that either. Buy BoDoggos and
These
maybe
are
you'll
free
get a
NFTs
1-of-1 bear.
that you're having joy opening because you like the art, okay?
Hey, Kix, what a
I love me some
professional.
trading
Cough
cards
right
now.
into the mic. Don't mute yourself. What a professional podcast.
No, I hit the mute button. My mouse has a double click issue, so I muted and unmuted, then coughed.
Well,
that's on my mouse.
You know,
but
I think it was just
pseudo on
Kix
me.
asserting his dominance,
Yeah, real alpha male. Always coughing the mic. Dude,
I love working with
TVs.
such podcast professionals that when they have
It's
to
like-
cough, they make sure they go right into the mic.
Pio's like, remember, you have to purchase something in order to participate in our raffle. There's no raffle, okay? There's no purchase necessary. You're actually going to start earning bones. We just happen to be testing all of this on our BoDoggos holders. There may be other ways to earn bones in the future, audience.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Just to reiterate, if you can participate in this thing that is not a raffle and not a sweepstakes by buying BoDoggos today, and you basically will have an action every day to give you more and more chances, and the more BoDoggos you buy, the better the chances.
Let's not talk about it anymore, huh?
Okay. It's not a raffle. Anyway, let's get right into the weather report so we can get in the meat and potatoes of this show. I believe Kix is going to read our weather report. Kix, there's a lot of
Today
numbers.
is Wednesday, the 23rd of August. Sorry, came in hot there.
All good.
Market volume 12 million. Blur 5.9. OpenSea 3.3. Let's look over at the leaders. We got Apes 23.5, Punks 47, Mutants 4.5, Captains 3.3, down 10%. D-Gods 3.5, also Azuki 3.5, Pudgy's 3.6, MiLady's 4.2, down 6%. Over the past 24 hours, Jack Butcher's 13th Opensea Eyes Wide Open debuted at a 1 ETH floor, becoming the second lowest value revealed Opepin, following the trend set yesterday by the previous edition. He's been ramping up those set series. There's another one dropping today, 2 p.m. D-Gods will be releasing an art update to Season 3 by the end of this week, and pushing an update to Points Parlor last night, which included a rework of the Dust Rewards, a Parlor strategy simulator, and new physical prizes featuring products built by the D-Gods and Utes community. Artist Slime Sundays, The Great Purge concluded, where users could burn 10 NFTs through Manifold in exchange for an edition piece by Slime. 45,000 NFTs were burned. Divide that by 10, that's 4,500 NFTs minted. Mid-rare Bored Apes are continuing to sell for an all-time low premium, with a pimp coat selling for 23 ETH. That's a shame. Astronaut for 25.
Wow.
And a Diamond Grill Ape selling for 34 ETH in the last 24 hours, all above where I sold mine. That's it for the weather report. There's no crypto report at the bottom, so I'm just going to tell you it's not looking good out there. Things are slow bleeding. Alt's trying to bounce up off the lows. I don't know, man. It's a little shaky. Hold your feet, man. Don't let BlackRock get your coins. Back to you in the studio.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, a great weather report as usual, Kicks. These are some updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. You can sign up at thenifty.com. You need to have an account at thenifty.com to claim today's free NFT. You also have to have an account on thenifty.com to take the BoDoggos that you're going to buy today to participate in what is not a raffle. And, just to participate in that, you need to have an account at thenifty.com. So get ready to do it. Nate Chastain, the former head of product for Opensea, has been sentenced to 3 months in prison and fined $50,000 following his conviction for fraud and money laundering. Chastain was found to have profited roughly 16 ETH. Whoa! By trading NFTs.
I made $10. He's spending months in jail. This is ridiculous.
It's literally ridiculous. 16th by trading NFTs he knew would be featured on OpenSea's homepage. Doodles launched phase 2 of the incubator, where community members can receive grants on proposals that help further the Doodles brand or community. For this phase, holders can now submit commercial and customized proposals, with the council set to vote on approval. Mercedes-Benz is entering the NFT space. They've announced a collection. This comes after Bugatti entered the space. Bugatti actually sponsored us. I wonder if Mercedes-Benz is going to be reaching out regarding a sponsorship. Anyway, 18,860 total NFTs are going to be released over 7 eras. We'll see if this matters. Porsche also released an NFT collection. Those are your updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. I want to throw to Spencer regarding rares versus floors in the NFT space. I know previously you had a habit of buying rares above floor. What do you make of the current, appetite for that in the market? That seems really, really high risk to me, Spencer, in the sense that I don't know how much the market is valuing rare assets the way compared to how it once did, but maybe I'm completely wrong. What do you think, Spencer?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the market isn't valuing rare assets the way they used to, right? But there's 2 ways to look at that. I think that you look at the multiples on rarity compressing as a function of time, right? And this is a firm belief that I've always had across collections, is there's really only two types of things. You have floors and you have grails, right? Is like the market for the best in a collection is certainly different than something that's nicer than floor, right? And so it doesn't shock me that like mid-tier rares, like I think Pimp Coat, you even the one that actually I think is no one ever talks about, but is really significant is merch, like BAYC hat, BAYC shirt. Those used to trade significantly above floor too, and those are certainly like exactly floors now. Like we don't even talk about them as being surprising. Pimp Coat, like all these different things, like if it's not truly a grail, then it's a floor. And so even true grails are compressing, right? Like, what do you think the next gold Bored Ape trades for? I don't know. Trippy Gold Ape. I don't know, right? Like those are like true, I think more of like true grails, right? Blue beams, right? There's we saw and we saw, for example, like I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, there was 100 ETH laser eye Bored Ape sale, right? So laser eyes are holding up better than diamond grill, but they're still down from when I bought ours, right? For sure. But like the bet is that as the bear market gets deeper, multiples on rarity will continue to compress, right? And there's some point at which like the rare items are a better buy than the floor if you are trying to hold into the next market, right? If you're just trying to hold for like certain swings, little gains, like it's certainly not the right approach. If you think you need any liquidity on it, it's certainly not the right approach, right? Like if I were to try and sell my PFP today, I don't know what I'd get for it. I might get 100 ETH, might get a little bit less, right? Like if I needed to sell it in the next hour, I'd probably get 50 ETH, 60 ETH, right? Like if I shopped it for a month, I'd probably get 100, 130, I don't know, right? Like that's kind of at least how I'm thinking about it. So I would say in general, overwhelmingly the right approach is to buy the floor, right? Like that's usually the correct thing. But if you're trying to make a kind of crazy play, there are crazy plays to be had, right? And the scenarios where I've bought rares have been like, when I was buying gold pudgy penguins, they were 3x floor. And that just seemed wrong, right? And in the bull market, that's easily like a 10x floor play, right? And so you see multiples are very compressed. You see the lack of liquidity. There's some point at which it maybe makes sense to buy them. But I only did that when I had like 100 pudgies, right? Like that wasn't the first thing that I did. And so I think there's a lot of important context there. In terms of mid-tier rares, like there are some incredible opportunities if you want to rock apes as a PFP to get cool PFPs, and that's sick. Like that's nice, right? I was talking with a collector recently who was like wanting to find his like forever ape, his PFP. He was entering the space, like very large traditional art collector, and he was like ecstatic that there were all of these deals happening on like cool apes, right? Like do you remember when the floor was like only crazy eyes? Like no longer the case. So that's nice to see. I think the challenge with apes specifically is, and this is just something I've been wrestling with recently, is like what % of the value of apes is the staking rights for ApeCoin? And I think it's actually very high. I think this is why we see Bored Apes just move in lockstep with ApeCoin.
Yeah. Okay. And so, I mean, running a fund right now must be a really gnarly experience, Spencer. I can imagine, just because if your business, right, the fund being your business, if it's singularly dependent on locking in gains through NFT trading, obviously right now is not the easiest time ever to do that. How are you approaching it? Are you sitting on your hands? Are you dollar cost averaging? Nick, what's going on?
Well, the thing I was going to say is like a venture fund doesn't just like they're not day trading, I would assume, and I don't think that like
good thing we're not a venture fund.
Okay. Well, all right, fair enough. So what percentage of your breakdown is day trading versus long-term positions?
So I wouldn't call it day trading, right? But like we look for special situations and we're very patient. So like, you know, I tweeted about this the other day. Like in terms of like trades that haven't like our largest position right now is cash and has been for a while. Like cash earning the Fed funds rate. Like that's our largest position. We've been entering bigger ETH positions recently on some of these dips, but I still think there might be further down to go. Like we're looking for a couple of special situations. The thing recently has been like make a trade high conviction, but like we only have like 2 things we're doing right now, right? Whereas 8 months ago, it was like, when FTX collapsed, it's like, I'll buy a little of that, a little of that. I'll have me some, you know, pudgies. I'll get me some like, you know, mutants. I'll get me some whatever. Now it's like, no, like I'm not nibbling at everything. It's like, unless I have a really clear thesis on a specific trade, like, you know, and I'll share some of them. Like one of our trades that we have on right now is I like continue to buy the dip and mean assets. Like that to me seems pretty obvious. I think the math on the token just makes sense to me. That could go very poorly, but I think that like when I'm looking at all the top projects and I see everything selling off that doesn't have an obvious catalyst, that's like a super obvious catalyst. And like, as a matter of fact, like if you look at the whole NFT space, meme land doing well is important to everyone else, right? If the dollar sign meme doesn't do well, I think that like, and like the floor price of the NFT right now is just being dragged down by the market, right? There's some degree to which you can say, okay, Ray didn't launch the token when everyone was expecting him to, but like really it's being dragged down by the market. And so like there's a chance that this is mispriced right now. I'm not going to say it is for sure, but like if you're going to look at what's like, there's like one other thing that we've been doing. But you know, the thing about this job, and I think the thing about this industry is most of the time the right trade is not to trade, right? And so you don't have to be every morning, you don't have to wake up and be like, what am I buying today? I think the thing you should wake up is saying, okay, like at some point, everyone's going to have this like freak out over like blur and liquidity. And like, there's probably going to be like an acute drop that's worth buying. Is that what happened this weekend? Maybe. I'm not convinced that's 100% what happened this weekend. Is it going to happen when the second blur airdrop gets announced? Probably, right? I think that's probably a safe assumption there. But like between FTX, like, and this blur second airdrop stuff, like the right approach was just not do anything, right?
Yes and no. I mean, that's a long time period, right? FTX was almost a calendar year ago at this point. Yeah. I think that there were some W's in that time frame. Real quick, last thing before we move on. Oh, go ahead.
Name a W.
Meme Land. Of course. It was a significant. I made like $10,000 off Meme Land profit. And that was definitely after FTX and before right now.
Did you exit your position, Pia?
Yes. I didn't
How
exit
much-
at the top. That would have been nice. That would have been nice. It would have been nice. Real quick. That was so dumb too. Real quick. I got to let everybody know. When it ran to 10 on the show, it was like 9.7. Right on the show, and ETH was running. ETH was like $1,900, $2,000 on the show. I was like, guys, it's about to hit 10, and that was what Easy was talking about. Blah blah blah. Easy was like, I think it has more legs. I was like, I think I'm gonna sell it. Signal, of all people, I wish Signal was here right now, said something that I think is the ultimate signal, which is like it was the bull run. Like, are you sure you want to do that? You sure you want to sell it right now? That we used to hear in the bull run. Like, you sure you want to sell your V friend for $75,000? You sure you sure you want to do that? And I didn't do it. It was so dumb. And then it just started violently pulling back. And somewhere in that violent pullback, I sold it. Anyway, so real quick, last thing, Spencer, before we dive into parallel gaming, what's it called? What do you think of MiLady's? Like, are MiLady's going to keep going up? What do you think?
I mean, look, like the more that the execution things underperform, the more that the non-execution risk collections will do well, right? Like the market caps for some of this shit is like truly ridiculously low, right? And like MiLady's is just the inverse index, I think, to the rest of the market cap of NFTs. And the benefit of MiLady's is a lot of DeFi people who hold them, right? I think if you're looking at this, I do think the question is, do you buy MiLady's or do you buy Sproto Gremlins? That's my deep ponderance for the last couple of days is which is the correct approach. I think Sproto Gremlins probably has more legs because it's a 3,000 supply collection, so it actually has a lot more to run to catch MiLady's, right? But like, look, and I tweeted this out yesterday, but I think this is an important thing to say, right? Like, you have to look at the NFT market and be like, is the NFT market dying because it's like just structurally dying, or is it like people made actual just like specific mistakes? And my view here is I actually think people made specific mistakes. And I said this yesterday, which was that like both Azuki and DeGods invaded Russia in the winter, which by that I mean that they both just like released the same art twice. And we're like, oh, who could have seen coming that this was a bad idea, right? Like it's literally the same mistake that both those collections made. And so like, so long as you don't release the same art twice, like,
and make a big deal out of it and be like, no, check out what's coming.
Yeah. All right, guys. And the crazy thing is, so I've been having conversations recently with other NFT project founders, and they're all like, oh, the like making announcements and hyping them up meta is dead. And I was like, no, just make good announcements. Like, it's not like you can't announce things anymore.
I like how everything's a meta. Bit like running back office operations is such a hot meta right now. Dude, our accounting team.
The legal compliance meta out the window. Having an HR department meta gone.
Everything's dude. The meta thing is, when I see comments in like Discords and stuff, they're like, "That's just the meta right now." I'm like, you mean building like a viable business is the meta right now? Very interesting.
Yesterday, the PO hosting the morning show meta over.
It was over yesterday. Clemente is the new
hair meta gone.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I might be joining you on that one soon enough. Okay, so anyway, moving on, we got parallel gaming. And look, I think that the Sproto Gremlins versus MiLady's thing is really juicy. MiLady's being another win, Spencer, between the FTX debacle and now and Sproto Gremlins, of course. Bored Ape Yacht Club certainly is not a win between the FTX debacle and now. So parallel gaming. So Kix was talking about it. I heard Spencer, or I saw Spencer tweeting about it. I don't know if you guys got to talk about this yesterday. Kix, what are your thoughts on parallel a couple days in, or a week in for you now, maybe even 2 weeks in? You talked about it on the show last week. I want to hear where you're at now, and then we can go to Spencer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I'm still a really big fan of parallel. I think I got into the closed beta like 2 weeks ago, and basically I was like, if I play this for a week and I actually genuinely enjoy it, then I'm going to buy I'm gonna develop my thesis and then buy something. And so my thesis was basically that I felt that the cards are really for playing, and a lot of the rare card backs and stuff like that already were really expensive. I think you can definitely speculate on cards, but for me, like just the clear thing to speculate on was either these avatars or Prime. I mostly went with Prime. Like my average cost on that was like 230, and I rotated a lot of my ETH and Bitcoin into there, so it was nice. Those went down, this went up, so that ended up being a good trade. But yeah, my thesis was really just like, does it seem like it's a fun game, and does it have legs? I personally played a lot of trading card games in the day. I played Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, a bunch of games like that. And I actually really enjoyed like the game mechanics of this. And I've tried other Web3 trading card games, and they just didn't stick for me. And that just may be my personal preferences or whatever. So I played it for a week, really enjoyed it. And so yeah, I threw a punt into Prime, and it's going well. Yeah, it's going well so far. I feel like we've been waiting for really fun, legit crypto games to finally get to the market and get to a playable state. And there's a lot of games out there that definitely look very interesting, but like Parallel is kind of the first one to be getting to a true like playable, like fully playable state, and they're about to transition from closed beta into open beta. So it's been a lot of fun playing it. And so far it's been a good buy on the token.
There you go. Spencer, you've been enjoying it. What do you make of it? You're a big time Magic the Gathering guy. What's the story?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think the mechanics are really good. I agree with Kicks. I think the meta seems kind of balanced. My only critique of it, and I think this is something that can get worked out over time, and it's not really a critique of something that's like in beta, but the meta feels a little like too solved, in the sense of like you have a couple of different decks that you can play, and like the green one beats the red one beats the black one beats the green one, and like it's like, oh, as soon as you see your opponent's avatar, you kind of know who's going to win the match. That's not like 100% true, but I do wish it was like a little bit more skill intensive, a little bit less RNG. Like it's following a template of some other games. Like it's almost exactly
You got to
the
put the
same
mic
as,
in
like-
your mic towards your mouth.
sorry, it's almost exactly the same as the One Piece game that just came out. So they're almost exactly the same trading card game. But that's to say, like, most trading card games are almost exactly the same, right? Like they all have the similar mechanics. I think the mechanics are pretty good. I do like about Parallel that the games tend to be quite fast. Like there isn't really a control-y, like you don't do anything meta. So I spent basically like all of yesterday, actually not basically, like literally after the show, I downloaded Parallel, and that was all I did for a day. And I found the like tutorial actually like incredibly enjoyable. Still kind of like getting a feeling for the ranked mode, but it's definitely an interesting one.
How can we see this game? Like, what is there some way that we can view it on our screen, or like some way to
You want me to
present
load it up and screen share it?
Yeah, I'm curious what the dynamic is. Like, what exactly? So this is a traditional trading card game with like attack and defense points on cards, and mana, is that involved? And
So the
So yeah, they don't
mana
have
in
mana.
this
They just
game,
have like banking cards, which is like it. So basically, like any card can turn into mana or energy or whatever you want to talk about it. Just every turn you can bank a card, and then it's going to give you an extra energy point
is there a limited number of turns, or is it until
until you kill
one
them.
person dies?
Each person has 30 HP, so whoever dies loses.
Okay.
But yeah, Spencer's spot on like with this analysis. It feels a lot like a Hearthstone, where like Hearthstone had like heroes, and there was definitely like certain deck archetypes that completely countered other archetypes. I think part of that is due to there's not a lot of like countering on the opponent's turn. Like Spencer's really good with Magic the Gathering, and there's so much countering and stuff like that you can do on opponent's turns that can like balance out some of the counters and stuff like that. Like so it has similar problems that like Hearthstone does, but it doesn't mean it can't be a successful game. And also, I think as they release more cards and stuff like that, they'll be able to add more like counterable cards into decks. So like right now, the person at the bottom's Cathari, and they're playing against, I think, maybe an Augencore. And so over time, they'll have more like Cathari cards that can counter Earthen or counter Shroud and stuff like that. But it's pretty good from a fundamental standpoint. It's fun.
Well, it looks pretty cool, like in terms of like it's a polished game. The fact that we're talking about this, and we're giving this deep analysis, there aren't many like in the realm of NFT games. Well, actually, here would be a question: how do NFTs even play into this? Does it matter?
It's actually they actually did a pretty interesting job. So how NFTs work is you can own NFTs of any of these cards, right?
Okay.
And if you own an NFT, just like with any other NFT, you can trade those, right? So you can sell an NFT, you can buy an NFT, right? The more NFTs that you have in your deck, percentage-wise, the more prime you'll earn when you win a ranked game. So you don't need NFTs. So instead, you can just buy packs in the game with like USD or whatever. You can just buy packs in the game, and those cards are just going to be attached to your account. You can't trade them or anything like that. But that allows you to get cards potentially much cheaper than what they're going for as an NFT. So like my personal deck, I have like 50% are NFTs and 50% are apparitions or whatever they call them. So they've done like a pretty interesting Web 2, Web 3 blend where there is a benefit and a use case to having NFT cards, but you don't have to have them to play. So they do have this model that would allow them to ramp in a lot of Web 2 trading card gamers. But it's also been interesting to see there's a lot of people that don't really like NFTs that just like trading card games that are playing this. So that's
how big of an upgrade do you get for those NFTs? Does it diminish the value of the NFTs as a result of this, or is there?
Yeah, they're the same exact card. So like if you have
no, I know, but I'm talking about the actual value to like let's say
the prime you earn is incredibly marginal. If you win a game, it's like 0.01 prime if you have an NFT, and 0.0001 prime if you don't.
Yeah. So it's 10x as much.
Yeah, but like you'd have to grind for like a whole year to make $2,000, like pretty aggressively. You know, it's not set up to be like a play to earn where just like prime's getting absolutely dumped out. The other interesting thing is they're like, and there's a lot of big Web3 gaming companies that are taking this multi-game approach, which I'm kind of torn on. Like Illuvium has multiple games coming out, Star Atlas has multiple games coming out. Parallel has in like kind of almost like an RTS game mixed with like AI, like a lot of AI influence called Parallel Colony. And that's coming out as well. I think that's part of the reason why avatars are pumping. So if you own a Parallel avatar, the NFT, in Parallel, the trading card game, it boosts your prime earning. But then also I think they're going to be used in Parallel Colony as well. But there's some really interesting previews for the Parallel Colony game. So I mean, they're doing legit stuff. They're shipping. They have a playable card game, which I actually enjoy playing. So
I mean, that's like a breakthrough in this space. If that's
exactly.
Like I feel like we should at least give them credit for the fact.
That's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't like a hard. It's not a complicated thesis on why I buy it. I was like, play game for a week, game good. Not many good Web3 games, therefore I buy. Like it wasn't like a crazy complicated thesis.
Well, there you go. Well, look, Parallel, we'll have to see how it plays out. People will only be obsessed with it in the space if the price goes up a lot, but we'll see if they have a little bit of, slow growth. We're waiting for something to really have slow growth that isn't just a price obsession. So we'll see what happens with Parallel Gaming. Kix in the Discord, Kix actually brought up two scenarios for how he thinks NFTs could play out in 2024. Wanted to have him walk through that, and then we can go on to the Friend.Tech airdrop and whether it's worth farming. Want to go to Spencer on that one. But Kix, what are these two scenarios that you're speculating could be the way that NFTs play out in 2024?
Yeah. And once again, like I'm just theory crafting, and my theories are generally terrible and wrong. If I was better at them, I'd have a lot more money because I owned a lot of Bored Apes in 2021, but I didn't think they were going to go to prices that they went to. So big caveat there. But yeah, I was just playing out some different scenarios, and
you're still living that. You're still you're still attached to this faulty trade that was made. It's not attached to like the
Well, it's not
money
a
that-
faulty trade because I made money and a bunch of people lost money in NFT. So I'm good on that. More so what I'm saying is my predictions of like future markets are generally not the strongest. If anything, Nick's is much better. He was like Bored Apes go to 500,000. And that was pretty spot on. He was saying that in 2021. But I was just playing out some different scenarios. And one scenario being that like as we go in, I don't think we're going to have a crazy bull run in NFTs for the rest of this year. It's really not looking like that at all. But I was thinking there's definitely a potential case that I think it's very attached to just how things are going in the normal economy and very attached to how things are going in crypto. I think one of the biggest reasons why we had the NFT 2021 bull run, if you just soberly look at it, is one, consumers got a shit ton of liquidity via stimulus, right? And then crypto went on an amazing bull run, which created a lot of wealth in crypto, which bled into NFTs. I think that's pretty easy to see, right? This year we had a big run up, 50% plus in the majors, but none of that rotated into NFTs. Instead, that all rotated into these on-chain tokens, right? So I think that if the macro for crypto continues to be strong, then I think in 2024, like we have a chance for like a nice looking NFT bull run. But I think like any cycle in life, it's probably going to be different than what we're doing right now. It's just like in crypto, the narratives change, the cycles change. So I think what will be the money making NFTs in 2024 could potentially be the different than what we were trading this year. My other outside case is that if the consumer really goes to shit, which there's some, warning signs in the economy that that's happening, I think that what we could see is if there's a major liquidity crunch, then maybe temporarily crypto goes down, kind of like what we're seeing now. And that's
I was going to say, are we just seeing that now though? Is it because crypto is so forward looking? Is that what's happening right now?
Potentially, yeah. But I think what would happen is if the consumer weakens and then because of the amount of debt and stuff like that, the money printer burr has to go on, then I do think that we could see crypto decouple in a bullish way from the rest of the markets. And the interesting thing, if that happens, is that I actually think that could spark a bigger, better bull run for NFTs, but it would take a little bit longer for that kind of scenario to materialize, maybe all the way out into 2025. I think what we're really dealing with is that like the only people left are people that are trying to make money on NFTs, and just the ability to make money on NFTs is tightening and tightening and tightening. And so a lot of those people are struggling or leaving. And in late 2022, I basically said the NFT market will like bottom out once all of like the sneakerhead flippers leave. You know what I mean? Because then that's like a true bottom where we can just like appreciate like the fact that we're like, people are talking about like, what's an NFT bottom going to look like? Or when's that going to happen? What that means is that your mindset is solely about making money off of NFTs, right? Logically, right? If you're like, when's the NFT bottom coming in? That means you want to dump a bunch of money into NFTs and then sell them to make money, right? So even that is a sign that we like need some more time, need some more flushing out. We really have to get back to when I started with NFTs in 2021 on Nifty Gateway. I collected like one of each of these like cranky pop figurines. It was like completely illogical from a money
Gold weird.
Yes, I collected 1 to 2 of each of those just because I loved them and I thought they were great, right? And then slowly I was corrupted by money. But that was like, the start of me getting excited about NFTs, and we need to see more of that coming. So I think that we still got time, but I do think that the meta is going to change. Like, for example, maybe it's not PFP avatars that's the biggest winner of the next run. Maybe it's digital collectibles. And I know that sounds weird, but like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, exactly. Right. Pretty good for us. But like, think like something that is a little bit different, I think potentially is what we could be seeing in the next cycle. But just for me, personally, I just think with like how shaky the markets are out there, it's hard to like deploy capital into this when there's so little participants, and it's where is the new liquidity going to come from, right? Because what really happened this year, like Azuki got wrecked. You know what the biggest problem with Azuki getting wrecked with? It was twofold. One is the Azuki people were like the only group of really rich people left in the space, right? And they were
Spirit
supporting a lot
DAO.
of the market. And then they dumped $40 million into a new mint. And then all Azuki prices, where these rich people had a lot of concentration in, get absolutely demolished. So those people don't have liquidity to come just gobble things up and like start a new run, right? So where's the new liquidity going to come from? From the average everyday consumers who have credit card debt at all-time highs and have student loans about to start back up. Like, when you're talking about a big NFT bull run, there's a lot of things that have to kind of be solved. And I think it could take longer for that to happen. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be a lot of successful projects. Else I wouldn't be buying Prime token, right? Or I wouldn't be looking for the next interesting thing. I think that there's going to be tons of Jack Butcher-esque ecosystems that do phenomenal, even if we're not in a, everything goes up bull.
Man, people need to get to work. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to live off their NFT earnings. They're going to have to start. I was talking with Pio about it. We got to switch the content to start talking about sneaker flipping, buying laundromats, creating some boring businesses.
Coins,
here.
man, coins and cash. But a lot of people in the comments are saying pretty much the same thing that I'm saying. Like, Not Your Dad says NFTs didn't really start until Bitcoin peaked. That May 2021 top, and then we double topped in November, right? That's accurate, right? Like the big inflows into NFTs came because of wealth generation from crypto, right? So I feel like that's something that would be likely the next scenario for NFTs to do well. And that could be a late 2024, that could be a 2025 kind of thing where we just need to buckle up. But yeah, it sucks to see all of the prices down and like everything, wrecked. But like when you look at the rest of the markets out there, it's not too crazy. And Nick, I should have held that Dick's Sporting Goods short, man. They got wrecked in their earnings yesterday.
Did they? Well, yeah. How high would you have? Is it now below your original thing? Okay.
But I mean, the funding rate probably would have eaten away a lot of gains. I forget. That was a long time ago.
You're like, I should have made. Yeah, holding a short position. Holding a short position for a long time. Damn. 25%.
Foot Locker just dumped 30%. These are all signs of like a weakening consumer, right? Like
also the fact that like now people they went and experienced the outdoors. You got the winter coming, and so the seasons are changing. So it turns out not everyone is going to become a kayaker.
Look at this Foot Locker chart on the year-to-date chart. Good God. Look at that.
Yeah. Why is Foot Locker? That's ridiculous.
Absolutely. Because weakening consumer. And that's the thing is like NFTs are very far right on the risk curve.
Can we buy Foot Locker now? Is it that cheap? Like that
we can buy the whole company probably for pretty cheap.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Look, market cap's only 1.4 billion. Our podcast has to at least be worth that.
Yeah. So when you see like, NFTs, dropping and then you pull up this chart, you're like, it's not, there's normal investors out there getting absolutely wrecked by, some stock. It's really a couple stocks that are like, big tech AI correlated that are doing well.
Their margins are awful. Their net income is 19 million on 2.3 billion in revenue. That's like that's 1%. Bad, dude. Holy cow. That's why are they? It's because they have all these physical things. I think that's their biggest issue is they probably need to, people stop going to malls. Yeah. Who shops at Foot Locker? Like that's just not
trash. The longest trash. Like the last time I was like 4th grade, I was shopping for my back to school shoes and they were all ass. So I went to Nike to get real shoes. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, that's true. I go to Nike to their retail store to buy Nikes. And I guess Adidas does the exact same thing. So like, why would you go to Foot Locker at this point? To buy some Reeboks?
Although when the economy was bad, when I first moved here, actually, my parents only could afford Foot Locker and worse shoes because they had better prices. That's one thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, the old white guys buying New Balance shoes is definitely helping Foot Locker too.
I didn't have real pumps when I was a kid. I had fake pumps, and I didn't have real pumps until recently. And now the pump part doesn't even work on the new ones. They're just like, oh no, that was a gimmick. We're now selling it to you again because we know you can go and buy them. So that's the situation.
There you go. Look, I mean, this was very insightful from Kicks. This was awesome. It was great having Spencer on the show. That is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow, we're going to have Sam Spratt on. I know we got a free NFT, Clemente.
We got 50 reminders for that show tomorrow, Nick. How does that make you feel?
Woo!
50 push-ups. We got to see them,
Can I
though.
just
We got to
do
see
half
the
of them
push-ups.
right now? Like
No.
half of them, and that I don't need to do them all at once.
Yeah, you do.
No,
You got to
There's-
try
there's-
it, and the elbow's got to be
50
in.
is getting legit there. Okay, that's like a serious. I don't know that I can actually do 50 right now. My personal training starts tomorrow, actually. So
Nick, maybe get on Friend.Tech and give us some workout. Give your key holders some workout advice every day.
that's
Well,
not-
we'll have to
not a
talk.
bad
I'm
idea.
sure Friend.Tech will hopefully still be around the day after tomorrow, or maybe we can talk about it before Sam Spratt is on the show tomorrow. Hopefully, Friend.Tech still exists tomorrow morning before Sam Spratt comes on, or the following day in case we don't have time. But yeah, tomorrow's gonna be a lot of fun, especially for me. Very talented artist Sam Spratt actually worked with a lot of music industry folks like Logic, among others, and is now having big success. I've talked about it before when I talk to people in the art side of the NFT space. He's one of the three names, along with Beeple and Tyler Hobbs, that comes up very, very consistently as the highest value, that you can kind of find on the art side. Obviously, there's plenty of other Squiggles, Ringers, among others, Snowfro and Dmitry Cherniak, and the names, Clear Silver, the names can keep going on and on. But anyway, if you go to the nifty.com/claim and you put in the password Plato23, so Plato, Plato 23, then you can claim today's free NFT. And as we discussed before, if you have a BoDoggo, you put the BoDoggo to work on the nifty.com platform. You can use your bones that you earn to buy a chance, right? It's not a lottery. It's a chance to get a 1-of-1 BoDoggo that is going to be dropping next week. Okay, so it's going to be pretty cool.
It's not
Nick,
a lottery.
you're laughing.
It's not a raffle. It's not a sweepstakes. It's none of those things. This is just a game that we're all playing. It's a fun game for BoDoggos holders. Have fun.
That's exactly right.
Enjoy playing the game.
The nifty.com/claim Plato23, Plato 23. And what if I told you that you're going to be able to do something with these NFTs, the free NFTs, pretty soon? They're not going to wash your car. They're not going to take your dog for a walk, but you'll be able to do something with them soon. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time, available on YouTube. If you want the video stream, then go to YouTube, subscribe. Just past 16 million views on YouTube. Very proud of the YouTube channel. Beyond that, Apple, Spotify podcasts. Let's share it with people outside the space. You already know what to do. That's